previous years, I mean, and still in the UK at present for this year, the caster in Division 1 and in the Europe has been free, so you can have as much cast as you want. I mean, there's been trucks out there with over 45-degree caster angle. This axle of mine is actually a 34-degree caster angle, so for the regulations for this season I have to then tilt it back 4 degrees to make it legal. So if you look here, if you measure on the kingpin there,
yeah,
it will tell you the angle of the axle is 34 degrees.
Okay.
So I've got an engineering company making me a 4-degree wedge to go underneath the springs, which will then bring, which at the moment we just have a 20mm spacer.
Yeah.
For it to go back 4 degrees, we need to have a 38-degree this end to a 20-degree that end.
Right.
38mm to 20mm.
So you actually had this axle bent.
Yeah,
I want to say bent, but it like
yeah,
adjusted.
they're cold bent. They're cold bent
Yeah.
in Germany. Not many companies can do it.
So you had to send the axle away to be done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's quite a bloody task in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's there's only a couple of companies that do it, I think, in the whole world, to be honest. Because they're not allowed to be heated, they have to be done in a cold bend, like a cold bend as they call it. And obviously, for them to do a cold bend on something this size, it's a fair machine. But yeah, so the reason of the caster change is because of basically safety. The more caster you have, obviously, the more you're picking your wheels up off the floor. So instead of turning,
yep,
you're lifting. So yeah, it's a new regulation,
yeah,
something that I have to get over, and
yeah,
I don't think it's gonna, because I only have a 34-degree axle compared to them having 45. Taking 4 degrees off is not really going to make that much difference.
Yeah. So explain how this feels when you're actually racing the vehicle. What this has, what effect it has on you going into corners and things like that. What sort of effect?
Obviously with caster, because we're not allowed camber, which we are actually allowed camber this year, they've put that regulation, but you had to have 0 camber. So obviously caster, when you start to turn, creates the camber, obviously to increase the corner speed. You can carry the corner quicker, because obviously you're leaning onto the wheel.
So Luke, you're up against it now for the next couple of weeks, because you're working all the hours God sends up here to get the truck ready for Europe. And so you're putting all a new loom in, is that right? A whole truck?
Yeah, I was just tidying up the like the truck itself loom, ready for when the engine loom turns up. Obviously everything's tidy, and then I can just slot it all into place.
Yeah. So that'll be turning up next week, did you say?
I'm hoping the wiring loom's already in the country. I'm just waiting to go and collect it. The engine should be dispatched this week. Should be here early next week. Yeah, and then we can get it fitted next week, and then hopefully we'll have it running by next weekend.
So it's not just the race truck which takes the preparation, is it? Because I know you've got your hospitality trailer and everything which needs to be upgraded for when you go to Europe, so that's waiting to be done as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got someone at the moment just starting to strip it down. We're just making it a little bit more. We used to run with 2 trailers, obviously to make it a little bit more cost effective. We're going to run with one, but we've got to do some modifications to the one that we got to make it a big enough really and more functional for 6 people to sleep in.
Yeah. Because when you go out to Europe, you're literally, the truck and that will be going out and staying out there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the truck is kindly being left at a friend of mine who's actually competing in some of the FIA, Hacker, Clements Hacker. He's kindly letting us keep it at his work depot, just helping us out so that we don't have to keep returning to England with it.
Yeah. Because
obviously then the cost again then becomes a lot more than it needs to be.
Yeah. So really, when you get out there in a few weeks' time, you're going to be, your work then is you'll be flat out. We won't see much of you until September, October time.
No, obviously with my son's karting as well.
Yeah.
My son and daughter's karting, I will be pretty much engaged for the whole year then, I think.
Yeah.
So I'll be flying backwards and forwards from Europe, obviously to compete, and then coming back to take Alfie and sometimes Ava racing. So yeah, I would imagine it'll be fairly difficult to get hold of me in for the next few weeks to come in.
So I know you said to me about you had to put extra weight down in the subframe here.
Yes.
And how much extra weight did you have to make to actually... Because you've actually filled the subframe with lead, is that correct?
No, not the actual subframe. We put solid bar in the frame of the bottom of the subframe.
Yeah.
And we have added a little bit of lead weights to the inner box section.
Yeah.
We had to add 120 kilos in, so I've actually put 135, and then I've got removable lead blocks, one weighing 20 kilos, one weighing 18. So if we get there and we're 10 kilos over, I can cut bits off of the lead blocks I've made.
Yeah.
Try and get us to the set, because it's important that you are the right weight, not carry a massive extra weight.
Yeah.
When obviously it's all in any racing you try to be as light as you can without being against the rules.
Yep.